So Donald Trump is the president of the United States of America again. And I'm seeing quite a lot of people on social media quite upset about this. Some very upset about it. Some can't believe it. People saying, America, what have you done? People thinking, hang on a minute, these are other human beings. They're kind of on the face of it just like me. They've got jobs, they've got families, they've got fears and hopes and dreams. Why can they vote for someone with apparently completely different values to me? Well, here's what I think has happened. People have voted for Donald Trump because they are rejecting the out-of-touch, arrogant, overeducated elite. They feel disrespected by the out-of-touch, arrogant, overeducated elite, and they feel threatened by it. I saw Donald Trump referred to as a monster on social media. I think that's quite an appropriate word. The problem is, there's a whole chunk of the electorate who think he's their monster. Many of us live in an echo chamber where we consume huge amounts of content which reaffirms our existing beliefs. And we end up unable to conceive that there might be people that think differently to us. We see it close to home on a very domestic level in Scotland, where we think that because there's a left-leaning government, they're somehow morally superior to those on the right. There's a lot of people who think like that. We're in, some of us, a very privileged position where we can sit down with our friends over a bottle of wine or a coffee and we can dissect the day's politics. And some of us will listen to podcasts about these issues and we'll sit and debate the finer points and the rights and wrongs of it all. Some people, of course, even host these podcasts and have self-congratulatory pats on the back with the lads and cosy little chit-chats about politics. And you all know who you are. It's always interesting on a Thursday night when Question Time comes on the BBC. Just look at who they invite on the panel for the non-political guest and ask yourself, how much time does this person spend in the real world? When was the last time you saw what we might call a real person on one of these panel debate shows on TV or on one of these podcasts with the same little clique of talking heads just going round and round and round chatting to themselves about what matters to them? That's what the voters in the United States are rejecting. And there's people in the UK rejecting it as well, and people all over Europe rejecting it. They don't feel represented by this out-of-touch, liberal, overeducated, arrogant elite who've spent the last few years disrespecting anybody that felt differently to them. That's why voters in America have chosen Donald Trump. And we can laugh and joke about the slogan, the Make America Great Again, and the silly baseball caps and the hair and overweight and all that stuff. But the bottom line is, he had a vision. Maybe not a very good one, not a vision he's going to deliver. He certainly didn't the last time, but there's a vision that people can grab onto. What did the former Attorney General have? Nothing. Just an inflated sense of her own self-importance and a feeling that, well, I'm not him and I'm not a monster, that'll be enough. And the voters, who, by the way, are not thick and do not have the IQ of a wooden spoon, like I saw earlier today, and include many black people, many women queuing up in their droves yesterday to vote for Trump, they feel more represented and safer in his hands than they do in the overeducated, out-of-touch, liberal elite. So I know there's quite a bit of angst and quite a bit of fear at the moment. And I know there's people thinking, what should I do? What can I do? And we'll get to that. We'll get to that in another podcast. What I want to leave you with just now, and I think the first thing to look at, is how can we start respecting people who have maybe very different ideas, very different views to us. People who've just done something that we kind of struggle to comprehend. How can we start to show these people respect? Because I think if we're being honest, recently, I don't think we have been showing them respect. Let's look at that first, and then we'll look at what else we can be doing.